So why the fuck is this $1,000? Who the fuck is buying this? Anyways, the point is we need that M.2 slot, but because my dumbass sent him the link to the one that doesn't have it, I made this very respectful man update the BIOS for the wrong board, and that means I have to wait until October 6th for him to update the right one and ship it out. But that's okay, we now know exactly what motherboard we're gonna go with, and for $47.85 including shipping, that is an incredible deal for a motherboard. And that's not to mention the fact that we don't have to pay any taxes, and the shipping cost is only $4? It costs more to ship from the US to Canada, and we're literally on top of each other. Pause. Matter of fact, it costs more to ship from Canada to Canada. What kind of black magic? How is it $4 shipping? Are you bringing it to me on a magic carpet? What the f— But you get the point. How is he shipping this thing across the freaking earth for $4? I wouldn't normally go this cheap, like I would spend like a good $70 for an AM4 motherboard, but again, this is one place that I'm willing to compromise my money on, and as long as the motherboard works, we got an absolute steal right here. Except we didn't get the CMOS battery, which every motherboard is supposed to have. Hopefully we don't run into any more problems with it later in the video. But of course, the board would be nothing without the RAM, so logically, I tried to find the cheapest RAM possible. For this build to be the absolute fastest $500 AliExpress build, I was not going to settle on no 2133 MHz RAM. It's usable, but if we just go for 3200 MHz, we're going to get a whole lot more benefit for not much more money. And looking back at this decision 1 month later, now that RAM prices are going absolutely nuts, this was definitely the right move. But just like the Mobo, the RAM also ended up being one of the harder components to find because of how AliExpress works. On the website, you can have multiple wildly different things under the same listing. So these sellers take advantage of the system and they're essentially able to trick you into thinking that they're selling what you're looking for a way cheaper price. And I got baited multiple times with this method because there's literally no way to know unless you actually click on the listing. And if you don't click on the listing, you might just miss out on the best deal ever. But after half an hour of trying to find the best deal, I think I got it. For $40 each, I was able to fit not just one 16 gig stick into the budget, but two, totaling up to 32 gigabytes of RAM. And these are name brand Kingston Fury sticks too. But you might be wondering why I didn't just go with 16 so I could put that money into a better CPU or GPU. The thing is, a lot of games nowadays use close to and sometimes over 16 gigs of memory. And for this PC to be considered the fastest possible $500 AliExpress gaming PC, it shouldn't be something that struggles just because you want to have Discord running in the background. And on top of that, because of the current RAM pricing situation, I think this decision is going to age well. Like, look at this. Even right now, buying two sticks of 16 gigs of the exact same speed DDR4 RAM, it now costs twice the price. We also don't want to struggle to open games or move files around, so we're gonna need a fast M.2 SSD with some decent storage space, and this King Spec 512GB SSD I thought would be perfect for this build. I could have gone with 128 or 256 to save $10 to $15, but I personally do not think that would make sense in a build with this budget. On top of that, the exact same SSD from the same seller now costs $50 instead of $29, so I definitely made the right move getting that 512 gig stick. The only problem with the SSD actually has nothing to do with the SSD, but rather the motherboard slot for it. The motherboard seller sent me the board with the standoff screw missing. So if I try to screw in the drive into the slot, it gets bent like crazy, which is not safe long term. I was able to fix this issue for myself by just using my own standoff screws, but I wanted to let this guy know that he was basically giving out incomplete motherboards. And when I told him about this problem, he did not give a shit and basically told me to fuck off. And you know what? I respect it, because by giving zero shits about his buyer satisfaction, he saved me the money for the most important part of the build. The GPU. Since I've already made a video on a surprisingly good AliExpress GPU before, you might have expected me to reuse the Mughal RX 6600M from that video. It's got some pretty solid performance and it would fit perfectly in this build, especially since it is very efficient, which would allow us to save more money on the power supply. So why did I end up not using it, you might be asking? Well, it's because nowadays you can't find it for under $200. And at this price, it is not only too expensive to fit in the budget, but it's a pretty terrible deal honestly. So I searched around for a new GPU and eventually I stumbled upon this 5700 XT. For $193.01, we're definitely overpaying here. The actual market value is around $120 to $130, and I don't think that this $2 coupon that he sent with the GPU is going to do anything about that. He literally gave me a 1% off coupon. And the best part is that after I left the 5-star review, he didn't give me shit. My guy, I hope you end up in the deepest depths of heaven. You like that positivity? W speed, bruh, W speed. But for the sake of this video, that doesn't matter at all when it performs almost as well as the RTX 4060, which is sold for a much higher price on AliExpress. Even compared to the second fastest GPU I could fit in this budget, the GTX 1080, not the TI, the 5700 XT is newer and more powerful, making it the best performing graphics card on AliExpress under $200. But keep in mind, this would be a terrible value anywhere outside of AliExpress. Like, you could grab a 2080 Ti for the same price on Facebook Marketplace. With our GPU now locked in, it's time to find a power supply for it. And this is by far the scariest PC component to buy, and if there's one part of a PC that I would never buy from AliExpress, it's the PSU. As the name suggests, this thing supplies all the power to your PC. And if you get a faulty one, at best you'll fry every component in your PC, and at worst it's an explosion hazard. Even my main PC's PSU, which cost me over $100, showed signs of failure after just over a year, and I had to replace it. So yeah, you'd probably assume that I wouldn't really trust a $20 AliExpress power supply. And as I've said multiple times, you're pretty much always overpaying for less quality here when it comes to PC parts, so getting a PSU from AliExpress is the one thing I refuse to do for this challenge. I mean, just take a look at the review.